Hi, my name is Amanda. I wanted to welcome you personally to the women's world of passion, power, and purpose. I wanted to set some intentions for the group and let you know what my goals are that I'm creating for you. So my intentions for the group are to create a place that's a safe place for women that we can express ourselves fully and covering a variety of topics. What I've decided to do is set a different topic for each day of the week. That way we have some structure around the group and people can feel free to ask questions and share based on that topic. We'll also have free days as well. Of course, if something is coming to you and you want to share it with the group, of course it's there as a structure and only as a guide, but please share it. It just will help bring more people out and have more things to contribute. I want to go ahead and give you videos. I'm going to give you webinars, free calls that you can call in on a teleconference, a lot of different things that you can do to participate in the group. And I want this to just become your go-to community. That's my goal and my intention for the group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with telling you a little bit about myself and then go into the structure that I've created for the group. So I come from a history of working in finance and law. I've been working in the field for approximately 20 years. It's not my heart, it's not my life purpose by any means. I came across coaching approximately 5 years ago. I stumbled on it, to be honest with you. And I met this woman and she was in a group that I was at and she asked a lot of just amazing questions, things that really got me thinking. And I'm like, this sounds like something that I would like to do. I want to share with you a funny story. And if you know me, you've heard me say this story before. When I was about 15, 16 years old, I worked as a babysitter, as most kids do. And I was placed with the community center. They gave you some training. They called you a certified babysitter and placed you with families in the community. I was working with this one family, and it was my first day there. A little boy and girl. The boy was 9, and the girl was 6. I created a game with the kids, and I said, okay, let's pretend that you want to find something that you lost in your room, because their room was a disaster. The trick in this game is that as you're looking for what you lost, each thing that you stumble past that's out of place has to get put away. And if I see you go past anything and don't put it away, the other person automatically wins. And the prize, this is the best part, the prize was to stay up 30 minutes later. Now think about when you were 9 years old. An extra 30 minutes, I was the best babysitter ever as far as they were concerned. Well, by the time they were done, their room was spotless. Neither of them found what they were looking for. I let them both stay up a half hour later. The younger girl, who was 6, naturally went to bed earlier anyway, so the boy stayed up. And he finished his homework. I was helping him with a couple of, I think we were reading a book actually. We were going to read a book. He was getting ready to go to sleep. And he said, I like you so much better than the other babysitter. I'm like, oh, thanks. Got a little gold star. He's like, no, it's just, I didn't like when she put me to sleep. What do you mean? Well, he tells me that she used to have him hold up a book and he would have to read it to her and she would touch him. Okay, now I'm 16 years old and I'm trying to figure out what to do with this. I had no idea. I know what I saw on TV, and on TV they tell you it's not your fault. So that's what I told him. I said, it's not your fault. I'm glad that you're telling me. Have you told anyone else before? No. You're the first person I told. I was probably the first person that sat down and paid attention to him. That was a lot. to take in. I was 16 years old. My heart broke for him. I had to call the parents. They came out of work early, and I told them what happened. It was devastating. It was someone that they knew, a close family friend. I knew that at that point I was meant to serve, to help others, to be there for the difficult times. At the time, I thought I was going to be a child psychologist. So at 16, I started going through the help want ads. Now, I'm going to show my age. Do you remember the movie Desperately Seeking Susan? Well, that was one of my favorite movies. And I remember when she was going through the help want ads, she got out a big red marker and she circled every job she was going to apply for with red marker. So I'm like, okay, that's what people do when they apply for jobs. They circle it with red, black marker. So I got the newspaper on Sunday. I got the big red marker, and I started circling jobs. Monday, after school, I started calling those jobs. Remember, I was 16. The jobs I was applying for was child psychologist. I thought I knew everything at that point. I said, okay, I am going to apply for these jobs. I am going to become a child psychologist, and I'm going to help every child out there, and I don't care. I want to be there for the ones that are suffering through traumas in their life. Well, it didn't work out like that. They heard my voice on the phone. Well, listen to what I sound like now. Imagine if you went back, say, 25 years ago. Imagine what I sounded like. They said, how old are you? You need to go to college for this. I didn't want to wait. I wanted to do it right then and there. Well, needless to say, at 16, I did not become a child psychologist. And then life got in the way. I grew up, my mom is bipolar. My dad was abusive. I left home at 16, and I lived with one of my close friends to graduate high school. After graduating high school, I started work. I lived by myself, and I worked 2 jobs, and I had to make ends meet. I didn't have anything to fall back on. I didn't have the luxury of having someone pay for my education. I didn't have the time to even go to college. I barely kept a roof over my head. I was lucky that in my 20s, I got a job through a temp agency at the bank doing very, very basic credit card fraud. Not doing the credit card fraud, but verifying it. So the very simplest of transactions. You overuse your credit card, you get a phone call. They say, hey, I saw this purchase, and this purchase. Was it you? Yes, no, done. Very basic. But I was good at it, and I started to see trends. And I eventually started working with the programmers in the bank to understand various different in-depth fraud patterns, and worked with a major bank, with Chemical, now JP Chase, to implement programming to detect some of these patterns that I was noticing. I moved up very quickly within the bank. Within no time, I was hired permanent, and I shortly after became a team leader. I was definitely on a path of growth at the bank, and then the bank moved to Arizona. I'm from New York. I was about 23 years old, and I was not in a position to move out of state at that time. I wasn't ready for that kind of transition. So when the position was eliminated, they offered other departments that I wasn't interested in, and I left the bank. Shortly after, I started working at a law firm. I had seen a position advertised for a credit investigator. I said, oh, this is right up my alley, credit investigator, law firm. I could do this. Okay, well, that position as a credit investigator, I didn't realize, was actually an asset investigator slash collector for a law firm. I'm thinking, "Ugh, I can't do this. I mean, listen to my voice. Who is going to listen to me? How am I going to be that tough guy collector?" And at the time, I was in debt. How am I going to help somebody else pay their bills when I couldn't figure out how to pay my own? I was still young. I was in my 20s. That job taught me so much. It was really an eye-opener. That's what helped me figure out how to get control of my finances, get them in order. And it ended up to be a much more stable job than working at the bank, because nowadays banks merge every other day, it seems like. So I stayed with it. And I was at that firm 10 years, and I moved on to manage another firm for another 5. Excellent experience, great life experience, but it wasn't my passion. Before leaving the firm, I had gone to a meeting, and that's when I met the woman who was a life coach. And she just asked amazing questions. And I started looking into life coaching. I went to school for life coaching. I fell in love with life coaching. Life began to make sense to me because I found my purpose. I told you this whole story to show you how we can go back in time to when I was a child. And I work with women and teens now as a life coach, helping them overcome obstacles in their life, helping them deal with past trauma, pain, self-esteem, empowerment. It's really not that much different than what I saw myself doing when I was 16 years old. I don't regret the time that lapsed in between or the life lessons that I learned. It made me stronger, and it gives me more to contribute. I didn't have this picture perfect white picket fence life. I worked for everything that I have. And I'm actually proud of the obstacles that I faced because it made me stronger. That's one thing that I'll always say. There's always, in the moment when you're experiencing your pain and your struggle, you can't see what that gift is. But later on, when you can look at it in a more balanced way, there's always a gift in the pain. There's always something that we can learn from our life lesson. You know, I work with clients on body image. I used to go to the gym 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. I was so into the gym. I had such high endurance. I loved working out. I was never ever petite, but I felt fantastic. My energy was off the charts. Sports-wise, I was able to go hiking, do all kinds of things until I injured myself with a very silly injury. I don't have an exciting story. I wasn't rock climbing and fell off a mountain. I stepped off a curb and my ankle rolled out. From that, I had a torn ligament and a sprain. 5 years I've gone through without working out. 5 years, including surgery, physical therapy, extensive. I've gone through accumulatively about a year of physical therapy. Finally, 5 years in, just now, this year, I've been able to start working out again. And thank God, so far, I haven't felt the pain. But while I was in my coaching program, and I thank God for the program that I was in, the support that I had from my community is what got me through that really rocky period, because I became so disconnected from myself. I didn't know who I was anymore. Everything that I loved, I couldn't do. I wanted to go dancing. I wanted to work out. I wanted to go hiking. All the things that made me who I was, I couldn't do. So I started to lose my identity. And it took me a couple of years to understand how to get it back. And I feel that the coaching came to me at a perfect time in my life, because that was the first time ever in my life, after all the things that I've overcome and all the things that I had to pull through, that was the first time in my life that I felt lost. And I didn't know who I was anymore. When I was in my coaching program and I was learning what it is to be a coach and how to do it, we had practice sessions. That's how we learned. We practiced with each other. I coached with the other people in my group one-on-one, We got to know each other at the deepest level, and we became a community, a family. And we knew each other inside and out, our struggles, our pain, our joy. And through that is where I transformed myself, and I began again to love myself and experience self-acceptance. So when I say that I'm an empowerment coach or a transformational coach or a body image coach, I want you to understand the depth that it comes through. I have various studies that I've gone through, not only through transformational coaching. I've studied strategic intervention, neurolinguistic programming, nonviolent communications. There's different tools that I've pulled together to make it a very unique program that I have. Myself personally, I'm a huge follower of Tony Robbins. I've gone to his events 2 times so far now. I've done the fire walk, and if you ever have the opportunity, if you are ever curious, I personally recommend to do that. It's something that has transformed my life. It is something that I will never forget. And at times, to this day, if there's something that I think that I don't think I can do, or I'm uncertain of, or it just feels too risky, I think about the times where I walked on fire. It's about maybe 6 feet long, 8 feet long. Hot burning coals of fire. It's not a joke, it's real. And walked across it, not an ounce of pain, but felt the strongest I've ever felt when I got to the other side. Through that and just the emotional transformation that you experience when you're at UPW, it's just life-changing. Any event, if you ever have an opportunity to do something like that, don't let fear stop you. If there's something that you're curious about, I recommend to do it because it will change your life. Anytime you experience fear, know that on the other side of fear is where you're supposed to be. And that's where your transformation is. That's where your growth is. Fear is all in your mind. So that being said, as I said, I wanted to just share a little bit about me. That's my life crammed into 15 minutes. But with that, I took some notes, and I just want to give you some structure for the group as well. So I'm going to put a little note on there. I'm going to pin a post up so that we have an idea of what we can share and what kind of things are going to be going on in the group. Something that I want to do is share ongoing videos with you. I want you to communicate with me openly if you have something that's really pulling at you one week. I want to leave it open that I'm willing to do a live coaching session with you on the phone or video, and we can share it with the group. And when you share, you're helping so many other people's lives. If it's something that you just want to post as a question, you can do that also. And I'd be glad to open this up to the community, to myself, and we can work through it together. So that's what we're here for. I want to guide you through it. And if anyone else has anything they want to jump in and share, that's what we're here for. Alternate points of view are sometimes the best thing that you can receive when you're stuck on something. So hearing from different people and knowing there's a supportive community with you is one of the best things that you can receive. What I've done is set aside different topics for each day. So on Mondays, I want to talk about your heart. I want to talk about empowering your heart. Whether it's your current relationship, finding love, letting go of past pain, Mondays we're going to empower your heart. Tuesdays, we're going to empower your finances. We're going to break down the struggle around finances, start to build savings, start to build, get rid of the debt, start to just build a more positive aspect and more positive view around your financial state and attract abundance. So Tuesdays is going to be about finance. Wednesday is going to be about your career. Maybe you want to change your career. Maybe you want to grow past to another level. Is there a part of your career that you like, dislike, or just don't know what it's going to be? Wednesdays is going to be the day we're going to explore your career. Thursdays, we want to empower you. Thursdays, I want to work with you to love yourself, love your body, Love who you are right now, and love yourself so that you are whole from the inside out. Sometimes these things are going to be emotional, sometimes they're going to be playful. We're going to explore all different kinds of things. And on Fridays are free Fridays. Fridays are a day that I might have surprises for you. I might post a webinar. You might have a question that's burning that you need an answer to. You can post that in the group. Fridays is just an open day. And we're going to continue to grow, and things might change along the way. But I think by starting off with this, it's going to be a good starting place to contribute, to grow, and really get to know each other. We have a great community of women. We're only going to grow from here. If you have anyone that you know that you think could really benefit from having this support, and I'm going to be more vulnerable, more honest, I'm going to share everything I can with you. If you've been following me on my page or on Facebook, I haven't been as personal on there as I'd like to be, and I want to be personal with you. I want to share with you personal videos. I want to open up my heart to you and tell you anything that I can that I think is going to help you. So definitely be open, share, contribute, and I just want to thank you for joining the group.